Hello, and welcome to the American Farmland Trust's release of our recent Virginia solar survey. We are delighted to have you here today to share the results of the American Farmland Trust's survey statewide around the attitudes and perceptions of solar development by farmers and landowners. Uh, The American Farmland Trust Mid-Atlantic region undertook a comprehensive statewide survey of farmers and landowners around their perceptions and the pressures they were facing from solar development here in Virginia. We know that in 2020, with the passage of the Virginia Clean Economy Act, we have seen a pretty significant increase in solar development here in the state. Not only to meet the needs of Dominion Energy and Appalachian Power's requirement to decarbonize their grid, but also from data center development in the state, which is increasing energy demand pretty significantly. Nationwide, the Department of Energy estimates we need more than 10 million acres to scale up solar energy by 2050, and AFT, through our Farms Under Threat work, has projected that over 80% could be sited on rural land. America needs renewable energy, but we also need productive and resilient farms and ranches. Through my position here in the Mid-Atlantic as the solar specialist, AFT's Smart Solar Program, which is our national program, here in the region, I'm under the umbrella of the Mid-Atlantic region, and more specifically, a project we have called Regenerate Virginia. The purpose of Regenerate Virginia is to engage with farmers around education, technical assistance, several different programs, but most importantly, we're interested in helping connect farmers with food systems that provide healthy food, opportunities to improve soil health and combat climate change, and support ecosystems. Ultimately, this work is focused on creating agricultural communities that sustain and support all who live and work in them. Overall, we were able to reach 240 total respondents statewide. That's 78 out of Virginia's 96 counties. You'll see the breakdown here: 51% owner-operator, 35% landowner, 4% farm tenant. I think there's a little bit of, there could be multiple responses here, so take that data as you will. But we were pretty happy with the 240 respondents. We felt like it painted a pretty accurate picture statewide. Most importantly, as far as themes that we saw, was that farmers have very nuanced and I would call them complex views about solar on farmland. 64% of farmers consider that solar is best suited to marginal or less productive farmland. 53% would consider solar if they could continue to farm under and around the panels. And 43% would consider solar if it brought economic development opportunity to their community. So all very important, but also very complex themes that I think don't just boil down to a simple concept. Farmers here in Virginia view extension and farm associations as trusted sources of information. So, and this is not a percentage data point here. These are total respondents, but 136 respondents out of the 240 viewed extension on the higher level of trust, as well as Farm Bureau and Virginia Department of Ag. Farmers would consider solar on their farm, and one distinction we tried to make was with the survey addressing specific questions around utility scale, energy that's going to be used off of an operation as well as on-farm solar. So we had a couple questions addressing solar for their own use, the behind the meter system. So farmers would consider solar on their own farm if they could continue farming under and around the solar panels, if it brought economic development opportunity to their community, and a pretty good proportion said they weren't interested in any condition. Again, which is worth noting as a data point. One of the connections we wanted to try and dig into with this data was the kind of succession planning, generational aspect of, what is making if farmers choose to lease or sell portions of their operation for solar, what's affecting them? Is there a lack of a successor? Those types of things to try and dig into the generational aspect of this. So we found that 56% of the respondents are 55 years and older. We know that's a data point that's common throughout agriculture. That was nothing new from this survey. 41% do not have an identified successor for their land, which I think is a much larger number than ideally we would like to see. We would like to see a much higher number of codified succession plans out there, and over 1/3 have been contacted by a solar developer. So 37% of the respondents had been contacted by a solar developer, I think is significant. I would guess they're probably those that in some cases were contacted by a solar developer were also contacted by some other sort of real estate development. Overall, farmers voiced many opinions, and some of the more common or more important were farmers they were concerned about food security, so maintaining enough productive land to grow food for our communities. Farmers were concerned about preserving soil health and the long-term viability of the land used underneath solar projects. Farmers were concerned about habitat loss. We heard a very strong common theme around the desire for smaller scale solar, if you want to call it community solar or DG, distributed generation. Farmers and landowners were hungry for more engagement with developers. I think they want to hear more about projects. They want to hear more about how the revenue from these projects is going to help their community specifically. And I think they want to have a conversation so that folks are happy and feel like the projects being developed fit within their rural community, and they want to hear how it's going to benefit them. Farmers were also overly attuned to the negative impacts of solar development on tenant farmers. There's, kind of the loss of productive land, and as well as not getting that windfall economic benefit from either, leasing that land or selling it. And 63% of farmers agree that solar developers should be responsible for returning land back to a farmable state after decommissioning. I think this number should be 100%, but it shows that a lot, more than a majority of the respondents are thinking about decommissioning and what it looks like and how it should happen. So next steps here in the state, we wanted to use this survey as a jumping off point. We felt like we needed to ask Virginia farmers what they were facing and what they needed, and we felt like we got a lot of good information about this, but we also want to use this as the foundation to build the rest of the house. So we have currently ongoing a Department of Energy funded survey very similar to this, but it is focused on agrivoltaics, that is dual use solar. Solar and agriculture co-located. So we plan to also build off of that survey. We're getting a lot of great insight, both here in the state, as well as some national perspectives. So we would love to continue that work to help shape what we're doing in the future. We really want to elevate projects that are co-locating agriculture and solar energy, and we want to use that to, kind of tell compelling stories. One of the things we found is from both the energy industry and the agricultural community, we need more research, we need more education. Folks need to see that agriculture and solar can work. And so I think telling those compelling stories, whether it's a short video or a written piece, I think is really important to kind of solidifying what agrivoltaics looks like in practice. We want to support farmers and landowners in making informed decisions about solar development on their land through educational resources, technical assistance, and other programs. AFT released a few years ago a solar leasing guide geared towards farmers to kind of educate about the solar leasing process and how it works and kind of level the playing field. And we would love to build on that resource regionally and then bring it current, given some of the changes and make it more applicable to Virginia and the Mid-Atlantic. So I want to ask 3 questions since AFT greatly values input from our partners, and we know that smart solar and agriculturally compatible solar take a tremendous amount of collaboration, and we know our partners in the region are the most vital part of that. So I have these 3 questions. I didn't want to tell everybody what we wanted to do in the future, but I felt like these questions would be a great jumping off point for conversation starters and how this work in this conversation looks moving forward. So where and how can AFT help, whether you're an individual or an organization? Where can you use our assistance, or where do you think an area that we lack in the state is? And maybe it's more specific to your organization, but where and how can we help you? What does your organization need? I think this is really important, where we can find kind of the shared strengths. AFT is not a member-led organization, but we are a larger national nonprofit, and so that brings advantages and disadvantages, and we certainly, I think, can accentuate strengths between organizations that are member-led here in the state. And then more generally, what does the state of Virginia need? What does this work look like in 5 years, 10 years, to kind of guide solar development in a way that is mutually beneficial to the energy industry and Virginia's farmers and landscape? And with that plea for shared work in the future and how AFT's work in the region can help your organization or your operation, if you're here as an individual farmer, you'll see my contact information up here. And feel free to always view me as a resource, both in the Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania region, but for energy and agriculture generally. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to join us today to review these results, and certainly look forward to speaking with you in the future and finding ways that AFT and your organization can work towards creating a better future for solar and agriculture in Virginia.